he made for his students, he saw the potentialities of prose and its beauties, and he looked forward to animating his students with the sense of what he perceived. But in the first classes he met, after the opening routines of roles and study plans, when he began to address himself to his subject and his students, he found that his sense of wonder remained hidden within him. Sometimes, as he spoke to his students, it was as if he stood outside himself and observed a stranger speaking to a group assembled unwillingly. He heard his own flat voice reciting the materials he had prepared, and nothing of his own excitement came through that recitation. He found his release and fulfillment in the classes in which he himself was a student. There he was able to recapture the sense of discovery he had felt on that first day when Archer Sloane had spoken to him in class, and he had, in an instant, become someone other than who he had been. As his mind engaged itself with his subject, as it grappled with the power of the literature he studied and tried to understand its nature, he was aware of a constant change within him, and as he was aware of that, he moved outward from himself into the world which contained him, so that he knew that the poem of Milton's that he read, or the essay of Bacon's, or the drama of Ben Jonson's, changed the world which was its subject, and changed it because of its dependence upon it. He seldom spoke in class, and his papers rarely satisfied him. Like his lectures to his young students, they did not betray what he most profoundly knew. He began to be on familiar terms with a few of his fellow students who were also acting instructors in the department. Among those were two with whom he became friendly, David Masters and Gordon Finch. Masters was a slight, dark youth with a sharp tongue and gentle eyes. Like Stoner, he was just beginning his doctoral program, though he was a year or so younger than Stoner. Among the faculty and the graduate students, he had a reputation for arrogance and impertinence, and it was generally conceded that he would have some difficulty in finally obtaining his degree. Stoner thought him the most brilliant man he had ever known, and deferred to him without envy or resentment. Gordon Finch was large and blond, and already at the age of 23 beginning to run to fat. He had taken an undergraduate degree from a commercial college in St. Louis, and at the university had made various stabs at advanced degrees in the departments of economics, history, and engineering. He had begun work on his degree in literature largely because he had been able, at the last minute, to get a small instructing job in the English department. He quickly showed himself to be the most nearly indifferent student in the department, but he was popular with the freshmen, and he got along well with the older faculty members and with the officers of the administration. The three of them, Stoner, Masters, and Finch, got in the habit of meeting on Friday afternoons at a small saloon in downtown Columbia, drinking large schooners of beer and talking late into the night. Though he found the only social pleasure he knew in these evenings, Stoner often wondered at their relationship. Though they got along well enough together, they had not become close friends. They had no confidences and seldom saw each other outside their weekly gatherings. None of them ever raised the question of that relationship. Stoner knew that it had not occurred to Gordon Finch, but he suspected that it had to David Masters. Once, late in the evening, as they sat at a rear table in the dimness of the saloon, Stoner and Masters talked of their teaching and study with the awkward facetiousness of the very serious. Masters, holding aloft a hard-boiled egg from the free lunch as if it were a crystal ball, said, "Have you gentlemen ever considered the question of the true nature of the university? Mr. Stoner? Mr. Finch?" Smiling, they shook their heads. "I'll bet you haven't. Stoner here, I imagine, sees it as a great repository, like a library or a whorehouse, where men come of their free will and select that which will complete them, where all work together like little bees in a common hive, the true, the good, the beautiful. They're just around the corner in the next corridor. They're in the next book, the one you haven't read, or in the next stack, the one you haven't got to. But you'll get to it someday. And when you do... He looked at the egg for a moment more, then took a large bite of it, and turned to Stoner, his jaws working and his dark eyes bright. Stoner smiled.